Stephanie Dobson is back with us this week. Stephanie is a local lawyer and mediator with Hank Divorce Law and Mediation here in Lloydminster. And this is another episode of Healthy, Thriving Families in Two Homes. And today, Stephanie, this is a really interesting topic. It's basically how when you have adult children going through separation or divorce, how you can support them. So let's start out by talking about that. And if you can give me some tips, if your adult children are going through this process, what are some of the ways that you can get involved to help support them?
Sure. So I've divided this one into my top 3 tips. So tip number 1, encourage your adult child to consider positive and healthy separation or divorce. So often, of course, the adult children will come to their parents for advice as they're going through a separation or divorce. But irrespective of how you as the parent or the grandparent feel about your soon-to-be ex, it's really important to help them to sort of see the forest for the trees and to help them to maintain some civility during their separation and divorce. On our Hank Divorce website, we have lots of resources on process choices and negotiation options that can help people to stay civil as they go through the separation and divorce. So tip number 2, think of ways that you can be there to support your children. So that might be financial support, that might be respite support, that might be emotional support. So let's talk first about financial support. I'm sure you can think of ways to financially help your child as they go through this. So you may want to help them with things like setting up a new residence, caring for the grandchildren to help them reduce their childcare expenses, co-signing for a loan if they need it, or even helping with their professional fees. So it's really important, of course, to document this properly if you are going to help your children out, because you want to document it either as a loan or as a gift for the future repayment. The second thing, respite support. So would it help your children if you took the grandkids for an overnight or even for a weekend? Maybe you can clean their house or even drive the grandkids to their activities, or help your adult child by cleaning their house for them once in a while. So that's respite support. And the third one is emotional support. So of course, be there as a shoulder to cry on, or just an ear to listen. So hold back your own feelings about the separation and divorce, and just allow them to vent and to be, and you can be a support in the way that they ask you to be a support. So tip number 3 is be flexible. Your adult child is going to be going through a lot. There's going to be lots of new traditions that come up, and holidays and special occasions that you're going to have to be thinking about and planning for extended family gatherings. And so it's really important to be flexible, because your adult child is going to be learning to develop their own new traditions in a 2-home family.
Now, Stephanie, if you are a grandparent and you realize that your grandchildren are really going through, a high conflict separation, what are some of the ways that you can help out your grandkids in that scenario?
I've got this one labeled down into 3 tips as well. So let's start with tip number 1. Be there as a support to your grandchildren as much as you can. Of course, your grandchildren are going to be experiencing various emotions about their journey moving from one home into 2, and grandparents can be a great diversion. They can be great, just fun, drama-free time for the children. Tip number 2, maintain a united front with the parents. So the messaging about the separation and divorce is the parents' role, not the grandparents' role. So it's really important to understand what the parents have told the children and how they've told the children and how much the children know, so that you can be there to reinforce the parents' messaging and to support how the parents want to process the information with their children about the separation and divorce. And tip number 3, always speak positively about both parents. You may be more aligned with your blood child than with your soon-to-be ex, but your grandchildren should be none the wiser. They shouldn't be having any kind of reinforcing messages that cause any kind of polarization for the children.
Well, Stephanie, this is a very interesting topic, and grandparents are so important in this whole thing. So thank you for speaking with us today. And next week, when you come back, we're going to start speaking a little bit more in depth as to what grandparents' roles should be and how they can help during this process. So thank you so much again for joining us, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, see you next week.